Yo, 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 what is the deal, family? Welcome in. How we doing today? Happy weekend. Hope all is well. Y'all know what time it is. We're gonna get straight to it. So we'll pop across the desk, get some mess in Mexico. Bro, what's going down? Asmon's covering it. We're gonna be co-streaming low key. He just don't know it. Let's hop into it.
More than 100 police officers were injured in these violent clashes outside of the National Palace. The unrest follows the assassination of a mayor who had criticized Sheinbaum's approach to fighting drug cartels.
Oh, wow.
Demonstrators,
How
many
did that
of
happen?
He said,
them
"Oh
Gen
wow."
Z, accused the president of ignoring
text box
cartel
is huge.
violence and rejecting U.S. help to combat it. Leonardo Falcon.
True. So actually, they want us to help them. I mean, we want to help you guys too. I'm gonna be honest. Like, in my opinion,
Pause. I thought he was saying that they should reject. I thought he was saying they were trying to reject U.S. help. Stop me if I'm wrong. I thought that's what she just said. But she did. Did she not say that? Put that up. Let's just rewind it a little bit.
Ignoring who had criticized Sheinbaum's approach to fighting drug cartels.
oh wow.
Demonstrators,
How
many
did that happen?
of them Gen Z, accused
So, okay, that means they're criticizing. It sounds like their leaders fighting the drug cartels, protesting assassinations. Also, this dude's assassination.
Oh,
demonstrators,
how
many
did that happen?
of them Gen Z, accused the president of ignoring cartel violence and rejecting U.S. help to combat it. Leonardo Falcon.
True. So actually, they want us to help them. I mean, we want to help you guys too. I'm gonna be honest. Like, in my opinion, this is like an element, a type of foreign aid that I would totally be on board with. Like, it helps us.
Falcon and Ignacio Gonzalez are here. They are have a podcast called the Leo and Nacho podcast in Mexico, and we've had them on many times on Fox Noticias. I'll start with you, Leo. Why don't you just explain to the American people what is happening at this moment? Because Mexico is in full revolt right now.
Here we go.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, good morning to the United States and good morning to you, Rachel. And what Mexico is currently facing is a national awakening. What we're looking at, what you're probably looking at in the screens, is a protest of the Gen Z movement in Mexico, where there are no parties that they are leading this. It's the youth.
I think that's the biggest thing about this, is that this isn't a. I'm sure there's like a degree of partisan politics that's attached to everything, but this is primarily a identity revolt rather than a political revolt, which is insane.
Mexican people. It's not about the left. It's
By
not
the way,
about
these media companies started reporting Mexico's protest after your video. Probably just because it took them longer, to be fair. But, you know, if you want to, you know, if we want to get into the ego thing, yeah, of course, it's because I made them look bad, obviously.
the right. It's about the Mexican people wanting the best for the country. And we're all together in this protest. We're all together for a better country. And we see it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We saw over more than 100,000 people during the streets of Mexico.
Holy shit.
It was pretty
that's a lot.
impressive from our part to see it for the first time. And we were actually there. So we're very happy of the people that showed up in the country and that they are pushing for a change.
Yeah,
Nacho, why are the Mexican people so angry at Claudia Sheinbaum, your president?
Oh wow, they're angry at their president?
Well, in a country which you have 60 murders and 40 missing people a day.
60 murders and 30 missing people a day. Huh. That seems pretty bad.
Every single day. Of course, they are
So
shocked.
yeah, they don't want to live on a PvP server. Duh. I tell you that.
Of course, they are shocked.
Yeah.
We, the youth, are really desperate because
He said 40? I thought he said 60 murders and 40 missing people. Is that what he said? Maybe, I don't know. That's what I heard.
we don't see the light. The generations see the teenagers after this horrific situation. We decide to protest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
I
with a
bet.
flag of any political party, no. Because they are killing us.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
That's the
Literally.
reality.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah, why are you protesting?
Wow,
Because
I
they're
think-
killing you guys.
Yeah, I think that's a really awakening thing that's happening right there. Like just like he said at the first scene there earlier, it is an awakening that's happening. And I think that they're speaking to the American people and they're using that language, saying that this is the nonpartisan issue to kind of highlight like, hey, we're doing something that your forefathers did. You know, we're doing something that was a part of the foundation or the founding of, you know, what you know as the United States. And but I think, you know, and maybe they are very well versed and aware of how things are in the States and how they can, you know, different how people navigate their socioeconomic statuses, etc. But dude, I don't know if I don't know if it would go down the same way here in the States like that, man. I think they got a lot more weapons and police out here, but let's see.
I can see that. Makes sense. Reasonable.
Okay, so what do you believe that Claudia Sheinbaum is complicit in this? We've had senators on here, Senator Lily Tejas, who bravely said Mexico is indeed a narco state, and she said that Claudia Sheinbaum and her Morena party, the political party she belongs to, is in business with the cartels.
Wow.
Is that true in your opinion?
That's kind of crazy.
Well,
crazy claim.
when we look at what Nacho just mentioned, when we look at 60 murders, 40 missing people every single day, the narco state of Mexico makes it pretty obvious that there's some things going on behind the curtains in the Mexican.
Well, they could obviously do something about it. I mean, look at what El Salvador did. El Salvador collectively is a much, as far as I know, a poorer and much smaller country than Mexico. And they were able to completely get all of this under control by just mobilizing the military and then just aggressively going after these people with every single militaristic government resource possible. So if you're not doing that, there's probably a reason for it. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, if you're not doing it, they don't have the same level of cartels. Yeah, but they probably have a much bigger military too.
Oh, but see, but maybe, you know, but the thing is, maybe it's already more deep rooted than that. You know, here in Ecuador, it's likely that, you know, if the money, it's like if the money ain't already corrupted, then they can still make those moves. Or if they have outside funding, maybe funding from neighboring nations who benefit from the stability of that nation, then yeah, they might can get some funding for the military to be able to just go all in and strong arm all those unwanted elements out. But when those parties have been involved in business for like many generations, it becomes like it's super intertwined to the, you know, those relationships really run deep. You know, sometimes
Mexico's military is highly compromised. You think that El Salvador's wasn't?
Government.
Yeah.
This is sad, but what we look at here in the protest is that there's actually a noticing. There's actually a noticing of all of the Mexican youth, of all of the Mexican families, that they are saying, how can this be happening? And when you have such a big amount of the population mad, upset at what's happening in the country, something's going on. And that's when you have a protest like the one we had yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, people should understand, not only was that mayor murdered in...
Notice how they're only talking in hypotheticals, probably because they know their life is at stake.
Oh,
I mean,
for real?
Yeah, exactly.
For real.
It's pretty obvious that these guys and the way that they're talking about it is like extremely measured because they're worried about any sort of repercussions or retaliation.
know, in public with his wife and his child there. But then a few days later, another mayor was executed. He was actually decapitated, his head placed on the hood of his car. This kind of stuff happens all the time. It's totally normalized in Mexico, and the Mexican people are sick of it. Now, President Trump, Nacho, has said, I'm going to take on the cartels in Venezuela. And of course, they're a transnational network, and that includes the cartels in Mexico. He has gone to Sheinbaum and said, will you help me? But her help appears to be very superficial, not real. What do the Mexican people want, Nacho, especially Generation Z? Because Generation Z...
I think people just want to be able to go outside and not get robbed or attacked and not have to worry about, you know, having like a paramilitary organization that's occupying part of their country. I feel like the bar is on the ground. It's not like people want to have, you know, everything be free and a unicorn for everybody. They just want to have a nice quality of life where they don't have to be immediately afraid for their safety everywhere they go. Like, it's not like you're really asking for a lot here, guys.
He is the one who is sort of fueling this protest.
If you ever look at
It's
photos,
like the first time I've ever seen Asmon be this understanding to people being like protesting and stuff like that. If this was like any Americans, bro, I think if it was any Americans that was protesting, Asmongold would be like, what the, these people are idiots. They need to, but he knows where to say to keep his pay. So it is what it is.
the largest cartels, they have military grade gear. They do. They have a handful of military grade resources and things like that. But you have to keep in mind that the military has 100 times more than that, 1,000 times more than that. Like it's not even in the same universe. These other people, like a lot of them,
Now that's where he
they
lost
have
me. He said a
armored
handful.
vehicles. We have tanks. They
Ain't no
have
damn
satellites,
handful.
maybe. They have drones. We have aircraft carriers. It's not even in the same universe. Like, really, I mean, do you honestly think that if you put if you put experienced Navy SEALs and generals that actually want to end this war, how long do you think it would take them to totally figure out, map out, and completely eliminate every single one of those people? I would say less than 6 months.
So we have Hulk.
That's it, 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, come on, guys. What are we talking about?
This at 3 months tops. I mean, that's what they all say. That's what they say now. But I don't know, man. That's what people say. But there's still, when we do those things, you still want to, or if those things happen, God forbid anything like that ever happens. Hope it never happens, right? But there are other there's other ripples. There's ripple effects. That's why a lot of times that doesn't happen here, especially like here in our North American hemisphere, because that going in there and it's gonna mess up. It's gonna mess up the economy. It's gonna mess up a whole lot of other stuff.
Printed out the names of all the Gen Z influencers like yourselves who were encouraging people to come out and protest.
Not just going in, but going in and like taking and wiping out whole peoples and communities. It can have unforeseen economic and other effects.
Yeah. Which is like putting a list out for the cartels. So tell me, do the young people like you want the help from President Trump's administration and from our military?
The Generation C want peace. We don't care if that peace come with American flag.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is 100% the way a lot of them feel, I bet. Is that they don't really care like how you get it. Just stop putting us in danger. It's that simple.
In the left arm, the right arm, we don't care. We want peace. The situation we're living in Mexico is crazy. It's crazy, and we have a president who prefers to talk about influencers and content creators.
They said One Piece. The One Piece movement is insane. Straw hats for the win. They're stupid. One Piece. Oh my God, we One Piece. They're wrong for that.
Instead of fixing the real problem,
which is the cartels.
Leo said, which is the cartels.
Last word,
we don't know what the problem is. We all know it. But
yeah.
Everybody knows. Yeah. Everybody knows what it is.
She prefers to look the other way.
Correct. Last word, Leo. Do the Mexican...
They didn't really stop the Taliban. See, this is the big problem.
Yeah,
is that
right?
A lot of people assume that America's goal in the Middle East or in Vietnam was to win the war. That wasn't the goal.
Does Generation Z Mexicans want President Trump to eradicate the cartels, even if that includes military work, military actions?
I think that's a great question, Rachel. And I think this question works for every single country that is facing such a big and important problem, such as in Mexico. Mm-hmm. When the Mexican people is in these conditions, when the Mexican people is desperate, as Nacho said, we don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's the United States. Yeah. We just want collaboration. We just want collaboration to end this problem for once and for all. We want peace for the Mexican people. We want growth for the Mexican people. We want the future Mexican kids to be in a state of peace, not in a state of war and in a state of insecurity. We don't want it anymore.
But you know, this is the thing. I think, unfortunately, like a lot of other places, a lot of other nations benefit off other nations being unstable, you know, and war torn. That's the problem here. Is like some of your power players who have the power to stop that stuff. It's gonna take it. It's gonna take them. You know, it's gonna take those people. The power is coming in and really just putting a stop to things. And this is like unlike Ecuador, the money runs deep. So it involves if you're going in there and you're taking down and you're doing those investigations and following the money, and it's leading up to the politicians' doorsteps, then you end up dismantling like their whole political system. And with that, you know, you create the vacuum, which is chaotic and can be, you know, we could rebuild it, but it's a very chaotic process.
You are our neighbors, our biggest trading partners. What happens in Mexico should matter to our entire hemisphere, and especially the United States. So we wish you luck, and we are really proud of the courage of your generation to stand up to cartel violence.
Especially these guys coming out here like on mainstream trying to talk about it.
Yeah, that is a powerful thing, man. We're seeing like a revolution like happening here in our hemisphere. What do y'all think? Or and where you are from, is that something like that possible, or do you think that it would be quelled by police forces? Me personally, I've seen a few like peaceful protests like around. People can do those things, I guess, but as far as I think there's a lot of mechanisms in place to prevent people from doing like a big unified approach. One of them being like almost the party system to a degree, but I think it's still beautiful to see people, just the citizens, coming all together for a positive change. It's gonna work out for them, and definitely hope for the best there. That is one of our neighbors. Much love, family. Let me know what y'all think on the comment section. I'll see y'all in the next one. Let's go.